I can introduce myself. Most of you that are watching that, you know me. So I'm Cindy Willcocks, and I'm the director of Arterne, Enriching the Next Generation, and Arterne for Nurse. And they're two businesses that I set up in the UK, and I've just been having a really great time running those. And I'm currently in Australia. Michelle's asking when I'm back, and why I'm saying I don't know. So I think I might be living my limitless life. But I want to introduce you to Rachel to introduce herself actually, and we'll tell you a bit about how we met and what we're trying to achieve and what we're going to talk about today. So, introduce yourself, Rachel.
Yeah, of course. So, hi guys, I'm Rachel Ross-Smith, and thank you so much for asking me on, Cindy. I really appreciate it. It's good to collaborate and join forces, and you've just been an absolute inspiration to me. And obviously, we'll speak a little bit about how we met in a second. But I'm from Scotland, guys. I'm currently based out in the Gold Coast as well. And yeah, just having realised the other day, like it's just having the freedom and having the ability to be out here with what we're doing is really cool, and made some really awesome connections in the process. So when I'm not on the Gold Coast, I'm based over in Edinburgh. I've grown up in the Shetland Islands in the north of Scotland, been down in Edinburgh for the last year, and then been out on the Gold Coast now for I think it's about 6 or 7 weeks. So got another couple of weeks here, which I'm really excited about, and then be back to the UK to continue smashing it and making a difference over there. And I'm sure I'll be back to the Gold Coast before too long, because I've definitely found my place in the world. I think I just love it. But yeah, we're going to speak a little bit obviously about my background and our backgrounds and how we met and things, but yeah, I'm looking forward to telling you a bit more about that as we go through the discussion.
Great. So I mean, this is a bite-sized kind of interview and question and answer, and it'd be really great for people just to kind of interact and participate and ask questions and make comments. And one thing about that is that we know you're still there. And the other thing is that people have great things to say, and I'm learning all the time about people and people's lives, and what people kind of get stuck with and what people manage to overcome. Like, people just amaze me. So I've got a lifelong passion for people, which is probably why I'm a mental health nurse, because that's all about working with people and families and systems and trying to make a difference. So a few more join in. Hi guys, we've just started, so just introducing ourselves. Okay, so we haven't known each other very long. How long now? In maybe a few weeks?
Yeah, it should be. I think it would be about 2-3 weeks, maybe 3 weeks this week now.
Yeah, and I don't know if people down on the Gold Coast. I did and I did a couple of lives on the beach. We met down at the Gold Coast when we were attending a course together. So we were on a course for 3 days. I felt like a real connection with Rachel in common in terms of what we're doing and the life, how we see life, and what we want for ourselves, what we want for other people. So we just connected. So we're both working on our businesses and taking opportunity to share some of what we're doing. Great opportunity.
Yeah. So sorry. No, I was just going to say, I think because we've obviously both come from the similar background as well. So the mental health background, I was obviously working in social care as a senior social care worker for the local authority up in Shetland. So there's definitely been that connection there. But it sounds like we're absolutely on the similar path in terms of like how we're really passionate about empowering people. And, it doesn't matter where you've come from, what you've been through, what you've been doing up until this point. It's about what decisions you're making going forward and having the skills and the resources to do that. So I think that's where we seem to have kind of like crossed paths at that point, because we're definitely at the start of, obviously we're both in the Gold Coast, but we're definitely both at the start of kind of the next phase of how we're going to support people to do that and make changes in their life. So it's exciting to have come into each other's lives at this point.
Yeah, cool. So I was wondering, who wants to live a limitless life? That's what I was wondering. Or who knows what that means? But yeah, you know, if you live a limitless life, give us a little emoji. Tell us if you do. That's what we're going to be focusing on today. So, you know, we wanted to talk a little bit about taking time out and just generally just kind of having relationships with people. You know, not necessarily intimate, but just relationships in general. And self-care. Self-care is a big thing, and I've been looking. I've been reading while I've been out here. I don't know if anyone knows it. Tribe of Mentors. Great.
Yeah.
So that's got some kind of great simple quotes in there, and one of the things that really stuck out to me was how to say no. I love that. So that's stuff I've been saying no this week, and reorganising some things. So that's been great. But yeah, so we thought we would cover a bit about self-care as well, and just kind of find you to relax. So, you know, hopefully what you're expecting. And if you want, you know, if you're expecting something else, give us a shout. Let us know. Got a few people watching out there. So yeah. So, you know, in terms of kind of what made you the Gold Coast and kind of being in the Gold Coast, you were saying that you were growing up in Shetland. So Shetlands to the Gold Coast is a bit different, isn't it?
Just a tad. It's ocean views all around, like both places, but yeah, just a wee bit different. So I actually lived out here for 2 years before. I did live out here from 2009 to 2011, and I have just always had a connection with Australia. In fact, my family's been out, and yeah, just always had a connection with Australia. So I came out here initially to support my partner at the time, but it's kind of grown into something else, and I'm really excited about what the future holds out here. But I think, yeah, it's definitely different lifestyles, and I think what gave me do you want me to kind of tell you what gave me my passion for travel initially?
Yeah, maybe.
Is that how? Okay, cool. So I was born in Edinburgh, and then I moved with my family to a tiny little island called Fair Isle, which is between the Shetland Islands and the Orkney Islands, for anybody that knows North Scotland. And there was about 80 people that lived on the island when I was living there. So it was a very remote, pretty unusual sort of stage in my life, I guess, from a child. From sort of 6 to 12 I was there, and then I actually had to go out to the mainland Shetland to stay in a hostel for high school, because there was no high school on the island. And I was, you know, going back and forward once per month to home, but kind of lived away from home from the age of 12. But I think in that I really got a passion for moving, and some of my friends call me a gypsy, because I do definitely just have this thing in me where I like to move and, you know, be experiencing different things. So for sure, that's given me my passion behind sort of the traveling. But I'm also, I guess, a bit of an advocate of growth. And for me, the growth for myself has come massively from the travels I've done, which have been, you know, all over the world outside of my trips to Australia. And also the opportunities that open up, because I think when we're within our hometown, and, you know, for me that was Shetland, when we're in our hometown, you know, I was really proud of what I'd created there, especially the last couple of years. But I do think there's something really special about actually just stepping outside your comfort zone, and a lot of that does come down to environment, and going somewhere else. So, you know, my first step was obviously to Edinburgh last year, in terms of this stage of my life, and then I've found myself out in Australia. So I think this has massively been about growth for me, and really just stepping up and stepping outside. And it's amazing what you can do in such a short space of time, you know, 4 to 6 weeks. It's amazing what you can do in that time. So yeah, I guess that's what it's been for me, this a passion there, but I've also identified through my life the growth that comes with the travel and with being in a different environment and meeting the people that you meet. You know, we've obviously connected and met, and I know we're going to learn a lot off each other, and I'm sure help each other to move forwards in different ways in business and personal as well. So, you know, it's about the people that you come across, and there is so much you can do in your hometown, but you are working with most likely a group of people and an environment that you've been based in. You've got experiences and memories there. You know, you have your version of yourself there. And I think it quite often takes us actually stepping outside into that different environment, into a bit of uncomfortableness, I don't even know if that's a word, to kind of grow and expand and meet new people and allow new people and energy to come into us. So
yeah, I mean, change is a challenge in itself, isn't it? I mean, I've worked in mental health, and I've worked in substance use, and you know, change are kind of big elements of that. And I think, you know, some of you maybe we'll do a little session on that, but the cycle of change itself is a really interesting one, because it's not cyclical. You don't actually just follow one step and then another and then another and then another and then you've changed and then it's all right. It's quite complex, isn't it? So, you know, even thinking about, you know, making some difference. I mean, I give an example of in the jobs that I've had in the past, I've managed teams, and it always used to amaze me when we used to have team members to move desks, because it was like even something as kind of small as that, moving a workspace, a desk, sometimes can feel like really overwhelming. It's like the only thing, and I just remember like some people's reactions to that, kind of thinking, what's going on here? You know, like we're just kind of moving two desks down the line, and I'm not being critical of that. You know, everyone, you know, has their preferences, but I guess what I'm just noticing in that is that, you know, even something as kind of as small as moving an office-based desk can have like a massive impact on you. So, you know, going to the other side of the world, or you know, changing a job or changing a relationship, or you know, whatever it is, you know, that sometimes feel like a step too far. So I was just wondering, like, you know, like moved around and things. How was that for you? I mean, were there times where you were thinking, can't do this, or I'm not sure I'm doing this, or they quite focused on the task? I mean, how was it?
Yeah, and I've like just to sort of put it out there, like I haven't always been this way, and I've come from a place where I've had my own mental health issues. I lived most of my teens, and I'd say a good bit of my 20s with things going on with my mental health, a lot of anxiety and depression, and you know, that was a cycle I was in. And you're right, change isn't just a perfect circle, it's more like this, and it's still like this, you know, and it is it's not even, I know it's just a bit of a mess but it's a lot. But yeah, like I think yeah, just to put it out there, like it hasn't always, you know, I've not always been in the Gold Coast, and it's not always been this way, and I've still got a lot of challenges going on today, but I spent a lot of the start of my life in a very different headspace, and that's one of the things that have really given me passion for, you know, this whole concept of it doesn't matter where you are, you can start today. And that doesn't have to be big steps, it can be little steps. And for me, for sure, like for me to get to this point, I'd say it's been a process. I mean, it's been going on longer, but if I really sort of take the last 3 years, that's when I really started seeing the momentum build in terms of like me creating change. And that came through a whole process and events that sort of were one after the other that happened in my life. And you know, it just got to the point, and again, this has happened a few times, but I remember when I was, what age would I have been, 22? I remember when I was 22, and I can remember I'd been, like, what had been going on there. I was 22, and I can remember I'd been referred to the mental health services in Glasgow, and had a really not good experience with them, and just, you know, was referred to people and different discussions about medication and things, and didn't go down that route. But I can just remember that was probably my first sort of big light bulb, and I just knew at that point, I was like, I have to create change. Like, I have to like really do something, because otherwise I'm going to go the other way and it's not pretty. So yeah, that was when Australia came into my life for the first time, and I just had this like feeling in me. It just was immense feeling of like, I have to move, like I've got to make change. And for whatever reason, you know, Australia came to me, and I was just like, I have to like go to Australia. And I can remember I was working in a club at that point, and I literally saved enough for a flight ticket, and then moved home for 4 months and worked as a waitress to save enough for a bit of spending money, and just left. And that was me for 2 years. So yeah, it's not always been peaches and roses, and there's been processes, but yeah, travel's definitely been a massive part of, and stepping into different environments has been a massive part of me creating change in my life and changing that mindset. So,
and you know, I think our own stories in that is absolutely crucial, isn't it? I mean, if I think about my journey, I don't think I'm the same as I was in my younger years. And I, you know, if the people that know me, I think I've got the same core values that kind of instilled in me, but who I am and how I feel about myself and the journey that I'm on is different. And you know, I've written a book about it. So based on love leadership, it's a model that I've created about conducting yourself as a leader. And really, love leadership is my journey to self-actualisation, you know, and that's the message I want to share with people. So that's why I put it into the book. You'll be pleased to know that we're on the design phase, so it'll be out soon. And you know, it's called Draw a Heart Around It, and we've called it an individual and a mental health treatment, basically, is how we framed it, but for individuals and companies. And I think that, you know, the love leadership model, in my mind, is something that can help individuals grow, and it can also help companies grow just by the way you conduct as a leader. So, you know, we do have similar stories in that, you know, we've both been someone else, I guess, or in a different phase of life, and gone through a journey on the other side. And I think, you know, those are really good things to share with people, because I think change is hard, and I think being different is hard, and it's fine if you don't want to be those things. What I would say is, if you're finding yourself in a position where you're feeling upset about your job, having challenges with relationships, or you know, not getting up today and feeling glad to be alive, then I think that's the time to kind of reflect and think, okay, like, who am I? Where am I going with this? And you know, I can kind of hear that in kind of your
absolutely.
story.
Absolutely. And it's I'll just maybe mention here, like, I've got my webinar coming up, my first live webinar coming up on Sunday night UK time at 9 o'clock, and you can join from anywhere in the world. We're going to be using Zoom as well, and one of the things that I cover in that is why I feel staying stuck is a problem. And then I'm also going to give some of the techniques that I've used and I've been trained in for helping you to become unstuck, to uncover and you know, and become unstuck, change process as well. So I'm really excited for that webinar, and it's going to be about 45 minutes long. There's going to be I've actually included some exercises in it, so it's like you can take part in the exercises on the webinar. And there's going to be loads of just amazing information that you can absolutely use in your everyday life as well. So just a little note to invite people onto that this Sunday. I'm going to be running another one next week as well, but come on, I've not got a full date confirmed for that yet, so come on to the Sunday one for sure.
Excellent. Sounds like a great opportunity. I'm just reading some of the comments here. So Leslie's saying, love what you're doing, you know, and what I would say is, hop on Rachel's webinar too, because it's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. So yeah, it's great. So, you know, in terms of, we would think a little bit about self-care and just kind of thinking about self-care. Is there anything that you want to say about self-care or say to people about taking time for yourself? This search for a limitless life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just before I start, I'm just aware of the time, because I know the Zoom allows us like as a half-hour window. So just to let you know, we've probably got a couple of minutes. But yeah, I'll give you just kind of like my top 3 sort of self-care tips. For me, one thing that's absolutely changed my life is meditation. And I think, you know, when you first are introduced to meditation, you can kind of roll your eyes and just think it's some hippie thing. But seriously, guys, like, it's changed my life, and I've been using it consistently now for the last couple of years, and it's really just allowed me to get a grasp of, initially allowed me to sort of get control of my thought process. So really just, you know, be in control of that, because before I wasn't in control. It was, you know, it was out of control for sure. So just being in control of that thought process, and actually just finding like I guess an inner peace and inner balance. But going on from that, you know, I make decisions, like business decisions, personal decisions, you know, relationship decisions through my meditation, because you're allowing yourself just that space, that quiet space, to be able to gather your thoughts, be offered guidance, and feel the love. And you just get to this point where you just feel this immense love in your meditation. And so I would absolutely say that's my number 1 for self-care. Number 2 is just listen to your body, because your body is telling you, you know, how you feel. Like, listen to your body. And you know, we all say we're busy these days. We're always hearing everybody's busy, and I kind of say to people, like, what is the busyness? Like, what is the busy? So just, you know, really listen to what your body's saying. And if you're saying you're too busy to give yourself half an hour to go for a walk or go down the beach, to be straight with you, you really need to take a look at your life, because, and I'm saying that with love, like complete love, but please take a look at what you're doing. Because if we're saying we're too busy to focus on our health, and too busy to, you know, give ourselves 5 minutes to meditate, or half an hour to take a walk, or in nature or by the sea, like, I really think we need to look at how we're managing things, how we're managing our time. Maybe it means getting up half an hour earlier, or just taking half an hour, you know, on your lunch break to go off and do something for yourself. But really allow yourself, listen to your body. And if you're needing just to give yourself a bit of space, if you're needing to go and give yourself some love with the massage or a shopping trip, whatever, you know, honor it and give yourself that time. And I think probably number 3 for me to share with you is, that's a tough one. Can I do 4? Could I say my other one would be gratitude? Expressing gratitude, practicing gratitude, because honestly, just a whole world opens up to you when you're coming from a grateful heart and a grateful mind. And especially times of difficulty, like if stuff's really kicking off in my life, like gratitude and really focusing on the good, it just allows me to, you know, ground myself, you know, see what's actually going on around me, and taking care of your so that's kind of more mind stuff, I guess, your body. So I'm massively huge on alkalizing your body, so being aware of the pH level in your body, ensuring that your body's alkalized through diet and using the correct supplements, and for me that's really helped me change a lot, and how I'm feeling, you know, my digestive system, my skin, and everything as well. So that's probably my 4 top tips. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'm just looking at the comments coming in again, and Lisa is saying, you know, I get that completely. So good. So, you know, Lisa practices yoga, and you know, really see the value. So thanks for those steps. It was great, and hopefully beneficial for people, because that's what these sessions are all about, really, is kind of bite-sized chunks just to get on for 30 minutes, which we're probably nearly at, I'm sure. Just to say, you know, look after yourself, love yourself, take time for self-care. You know, follow those 4 steps that Rachel's been talking about, and you know, hopefully that will lead to living a limitless life. That's the plan. So, because it's possible. Because I think you do. I think we're on a journey to living the life we want to live. And I think, what else is there? Yeah, and it's all about supporting your mental health, promoting health, practicing good mental health. It's not just something that comes along and happens to you. You have to work hard at it. And I agree with what you say about being busy. I was someone incredibly busy all of the time. I didn't manage to find myself, but I think I'm finding time in a different way now. So hence the reason I'm on the other side of the world, in the UK.
Yeah. And I think it's just the whole, before we finish, I think as a society, especially, I'd say probably worldwide, but I think definitely UK, this is very relevant for, is that we kind of have this mindset, and I've definitely lived a lot of my life that we're broken and we need fixed. And I used to definitely think that about myself, but I've really stepped away from that. And I think this is very much where the limitless life comes in, is like going back to what I said at the start. It doesn't matter where you are and what's gone on and what your actions have been or what's happened, and it's important to be aware of them and look into them and understand them. But actually we're not, as humans, broken. We're not needing fix. We've just been doing the best that we could with what we know and the information we've been given, and that's literally where how we've got to this point in our life. But it's just to say, limitless life can look different for every single one of us, but just know that wherever you are today, you can absolutely make changes from today to move forward. And sometimes that does mean asking for a bit of support, and that's okay as well. I was definitely somebody that didn't like to be a burden on anybody and ask for help, but actually having a support network there, whatever that looks like for you, is really beneficial and helpful. So I just want to say, know that you're not broken, know that you don't need fixed. You are doing the best that you can with the information that you know, and you can absolutely make the decision from today to change that up and start living that life that you know you want to create and start living. And you've obviously done that, Cindy. I know you've made changes, and obviously you're over in the Gold Coast, and your story is hugely inspiring. And I feel, our backgrounds are quite intertwined as well, and we've both are examples of people that have come from slightly rocky starts in lives, but have just made the decision to look at the opportunities as growth and look at them as something that we can actually give back to people. So just love yourself wherever you are, and know that you do not need fix, but that you have the power, you have the choice to absolutely take control from today. Implementing easy steps can really make a difference day to day, and how that compounds over time, and that it's okay to want help, that it's okay to have a network of people that are going to offer you that support.
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. Good note to end on, I think.